Let's talk about China first of all. There's a bit of there's a tit-for-tat situation going on with China and the US, isn't there, involving the embassies, not just in Houston and Texas, but also in Washington, D.C.
That's right, but yes, I can hear you this time, mate. So yeah, it's definitely a case of watching and waiting at the moment. It's quite interesting. Of course, yesterday the US closed the Chinese consulate in Houston, angering Beijing very much. The US said it was they were using it for espionage. It was not consistent with the relationship between the countries. But of course, this is an escalation, Pete. Of course, of a lot of stuff we've been seeing lately between China and the US. Now, so far today, the Chinese embassy in Washington has come out and said it has received bomb threats, and its diplomats have been threatened. So that's a pretty major statement by the Chinese. And also, we're waiting to see whether China actually closes one of the US consulates in China, which looks almost certain to happen at this point.
OK, on to the president, and it's all about law and order. We know that. He tweets that often, but it looks like he's setting, and help me out with this one, he's setting federal agents or the military into certain Democrat-run states, and it's not clear whether they are going to accept them.
It's really interesting because what's happened is Donald Trump is actually up at the moment, press conference. He's going to send hundreds of federal agents into Chicago. He says that city is lawless. It's got murders galore. It's a theme that Donald Trump, of course, is pushing for the election campaign. He says it's the law and order president, Pete.
Yeah.
And what he's doing is he's saying Democrat-run governors and mayors are letting their city go to the dogs with crime, etc., etc. He's going to send federal agents in. Of course, that's upsetting the Democrats. And so we're going to see a lot more clashes, I suspect, between protesters and these federal agents. We've seen some of that happen in Seattle and in Portland on the West Coast. And now we're going to see it in Chicago. And Donald Trump has said he will send more agents to more cities if needed. So it's a real sort of statement by Donald Trump, very much in the context of the election, Pete, with the law and order issue.
Yeah, and what do you think of I guess, a shift in his language, particularly when it came from his press conference that he gave yesterday, when he talked about the fact that things are going to get worse before they get better, and he encouraged people to wear masks, which is a shift from where he had been originally. So is that all about kind of quelling the discontent within his own party?
Absolutely. I mean, Donald Trump has been widely criticised for his response to the coronavirus. Of course, 2 in 3 Americans, polls say, are unhappy with the way he's responded to it. He was much more sober, much more restrained yesterday. I thought he was much more effective as a result. In about an hour or so, he's going to have another one, Pete. So we'll see whether he can hold that. In the press conference with Law and Order, which he's having right now, he's been much more combative, very much the old Donald Trump. But the coronavirus is something where his advisors are saying, look, there's so many people who have died. It's such a tragedy across the country. You can't just use that to play politics. You've really got to express more sympathy, more empathy, and be more, if you like, presidential.
And very timely, I think, too, Cam. A short time ago, I saw it out in social media. It was Barack Obama. He's there with Joe Biden. They've kind of interviewed each other, talking about Trump and talking about the current situation. And when they talk about Trump, they show that, you know, a leader's got to have empathy, whereas the current leader doesn't. Is this something that you expect to see going forward? A bit more of Barack Obama kind of joining Joe Biden and showing America what it could have?
Absolutely, Pete. I mean, polls say that Obama is the most popular politician in the country still. He's really, you know, and of course with Biden being the vice president, his administration, they're going to use Obama as much as they possibly can. You'll see him in a lot of stuff. He'll go out and do whatever physical campaigning he can reasonably do. But I think you'll see him a lot of these ads because the Biden camp really sees Obama as one of their tickets to victory.